Okay, we're live.
Alrighty.
Oh no, we're not. No, we're not. What is going on? StreamYard's acting dumb.
Sometimes it does that.
Okay, let me try to do this through my phone. Let me go live through my phone.
All right.
Hold on, because it is not working on my computer for some reason. Yeah, my internet connection is great. I don't know what it is. Okay, yeah. Let me get off the big screen here. I'm about to come up on my phone.
All right. Sounds good.
So we actually are live, New England, and there's 5 people watching. Uh,
Okay.
okay, so hey everybody, it's Robert with the Not Move podcast, and we got New England from the Not Move podcast. Let's get it. We're gonna break down the AJ Brown trade. We're gonna break down the Miles Garrett trade. We're gonna break down the Patriots off season. We're gonna break down the Eagles off season. This is gonna be an exciting live. Y'all get ready for this, man. New England, let's go ahead and get on this AJ Brown trade, man. So the Eagles give up AJ Brown. Y'all give
Yep.
up a 2028 first round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. Man, we all seen the trade coming.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on it?
So obviously, like my first thoughts of it are obviously like whenever you can add a player like AJ Brown, I feel like your team is going to get better, right? And I think like going back to how the Eagles traded for AJ a couple years back, you saw how that took the trajectory of that team to a playoff caliber team to a Super Bowl caliber team. Now, we can say that, a lot of it wasn't because of AJ Brown. We can say Saquon ran for the yards that he did, but they don't win that Super Bowl without AJ Brown, right? And I think me and you can both agree to that. I think the biggest thing that I looked for in this trade was honestly if we were going to give up a player or not. I think that's like what the biggest thing to me was okay, not exactly the capital of the trade, but like are you going to give up a player for maybe a top 8 receiver in football? That was my thing about it. And the fact that we didn't, I think both teams won the trade. I do. But obviously, I think with Philly, it's remained to be seen what they can do now. Obviously, Howie being the GM savant that he is, I think anybody non-casually, Robert, would say, well, what does Howie Roseman have up his sleeve? Because opening up that amount of money is not only a problem for the rest of the NFC, but that division. Like, if I'm that division and I see Howie Roseman now with that much cap room, I'd be scared. But, Rob, what do you think about the trade?
So, man, I think the trade's way overdue. AJ Brown wanted out of Philly, and that's what we gave him. And I'm happy for him because he went to his favorite team. He went to the team he grew up watching as a kid, and that couldn't be no better feeling for him. And also, man, all I am is thankful for AJ Brown for what he's done for us. But at the end of his career with the Philadelphia Eagles, man, it came down to he just didn't want to be on the team. He was becoming a cancer in our locker room, and we had to just get rid of him at a certain point. Although some of the points he made were true, you don't go to the media and be like, "Hey, I think we're losing the playoffs," or "Hey, I don't like my QB." You don't do that. You don't do that kind of stuff. Go to the media and say that. Now, if you got a
Yeah.
problem with him, you go to the player and say something, right? So, I mean, it's way overdue. Honestly, it's a good trade. Um, I'm surprised we didn't get a player with it, but again, it's still a good trade, bro. We got a first round 2028 pick. Uh, that's still to be seen. That's still to be seen. Like, what is it going to be, a top 15? Is it going to be a top 30? We got to see where this pick's going to lead, and then I can tell you if we won the trade. Because if we get a 32, if we get the 32 overall pick, y'all win the Super Bowl. We get the 32 overall pick. I don't think we won that trade because that's basically a late second. That's an early second round pick, basically.
Yeah, and I think it remains to be seen what that draft pick is slotted at, right? I mean, obviously, I think the biggest thing for New England was not giving up that 27 pick because of how deep the draft class is going to be at quarterback and receiver and tight end and O-line and defensive line and corner. I mean, the draft, just looking at it, like you have guys like Leonard Moore, you have guys like Jeremiah Smith in this draft that not only are going to be needle movers for teams, Rob, but like players that are going to revolutionize franchises when they come into the league. I think we can both definitely agree with Jeremiah Smith on that one. And
Facts.
Leonard Moore, I think it's just remained to be seen. I mean, he has been balling out the last 2 years at Notre Dame. And honestly, I think it remains to be seen what he can be, obviously, in his final year of college. But at the same time, looking at it and you look at the corners that are coming out next year, Leonard Moore is by far the best on paper, in tape, in film. I mean, you go down the precipice. I personally feel that if Leonard Moore was in this draft class, it really would have came down to him or Delane being the first corner off the board this year.
Yeah, I agree. And one thing I've been saying about Jeremiah Smith, man, I've been saying this for the last 3 seasons, and people have been calling me crazy. I've been saying the Eagles are going to end up trading AJ Brown. I said this 3 seasons ago before we even 2023 season is when I came out with this. I was like, the Eagles are going to trade AJ Brown, and we're going to end up getting Jeremiah Smith. I don't know how we're going to get Jeremiah Smith. I still don't know how we're going to get him, but I'm hoping Howie Roseman pulls something out of his sleeve and pulls Jeremiah Smith. Now, if he gets Jeremiah Smith by trading that 2028 first round pick, trading our first round pick and another first round, I wouldn't trade two first round picks. Man, that we would definitely win that trade in my opinion because Jeremiah Smith. Now, I'm not going to call him a generational talent, but ain't nobody on that field touching Jeremiah Smith, at least in college. Now, I don't know what he's going to be in the NFL, but it's to be seen, man. What it's looking like is he's the next Justin Jefferson, in my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, obviously we'll go over the off seasons of both the Patriots and the Eagles at this point, but me personally, I liked the draft for the Patriots, but the only thing I really didn't agree with was the first round pick, and I'll tell you why, right? So if you're trading for AJ Brown, right? That
Right.
that in itself is proving to me that you're trying to build something again to go to another Super Bowl, especially
Facts.
here in New England, right? Like if you're making that deal, you're saying, okay, well, this is our window time without paying Drake May. This is a window time for us, right? And I
Facts.
think the biggest thing that I look for with teams that either go to the Super Bowl or have a deep playoff run is that next year, what are you going to do, right? In your off season or just in the season in general, right? And the one thing I didn't agree with was drafting Caleb Lomu in the first round.
Mm.
And yes, everybody will say, "Oh, well, I loved that pick because you can protect Drake May." Well, I don't like it if Will Campbell actually figures his stuff out on the left side of the line. And I don't like it if Morgan Moses is going to be around for a couple more seasons. So now I'm wasting not only a first round pick, but a first round pick on a kid that was kind of a project to begin with, right?
Facts.
And I think that especially with Will's play during the Super Bowl and in the postseason last year, I don't put too much emphasis on it because he was injured. He was hurt. He was dealing with, something in his lower extremities that were not keeping him up to par on the field against some of the, best edge rushers in football, like a Nick Benito and a Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. And then in the first round, you're playing a very good veteran in Khalil Mack. I mean, that in it itself, on top of being a little banged up, right? Like offensive
Yes.
linemen, I feel like are always going to kind of be a little bit banged up, right? But when you can't plant your left foot in the ground and stop somebody from getting to your quarterback, I feel like that's a big disadvantage. But the only thing I like really will say right now is it remains to be seen what Lomu will be, right, in the NFL, obviously. But I think that they need to get his feet wet. Like I think he needs to play some snaps this year in order to get up to that speed of the NFL. Because if Morgan Moses does retire after this season, you're going to have to put him on the right side of the line that he has never done in his career. He's never played the right side. So I don't want to go off a hypothetical and say, yeah, he'll be fine. He'll hold down the right side of the line fine. When there's no tape in college showing me even him being a little bit competitive on the right side of the line. The other draft picks, I think Eli Raritan, who's a tight end, who, you know, a lot of people are making a lot of comparisons to Gronkowski. And honestly, like, I feel like it's disingenuous to Gronk, right? Like, Gronk is a Hall of Fame tight end. And people arguably say the best tight end ever, right? And yes, he has the same frame, but nowhere close to the catch radius that Gronk had, right? And also nowhere close to the speed in rack production that Gronk had too. I like the pick for him at the spot that we did. Obviously, him with some injury history at Notre Dame is also another thing like you have to kind of look at. But I think Eli will be a great fit under Drake. I think Drake loves, you know, big targets. I mean, you saw what he did last year with Matt Collins and Kayshon Boutte. It just remains to be seen what he does now with an offense constructed as it is now with obviously the trade today. But
I
Rob, I
mean,
guess I should ask you, like, what did you think about Philly's draft? In I guess in comparison to mine.
well, before I get into the draft a little bit, I want to talk about how AJ Brown got to this trading point, right?
Yeah,
So when we started when we started our free agency, right? We all knew AJ Brown wanted to go, but the thing is, when we knew AJ Brown was really gone, is when we started picking up Marquise Brown. Then we picked up Wicks from the Green Bay Packers.
yep.
The Tom, what's his first name? I know his last name.
Dontavian Wicks. Yep.
Dontavian Wicks. Yeah, we got Dontavian Wicks. Then we got Elijah Moore. So our wide receiver room was already filling up, right? So then we get into the draft. This is leading up to draft, right? We get into the draft, and what do we do? Now I'm not mad at this move. I actually love it because it was the best position available, and I think we fleeced. I feel like we kind of fleeced the Cowboys with that. Man, in all honesty, with that trade, I can't believe the Cowboys. And as soon as we traded with the Cowboys, right? Because you remember, if you go back to when Devontae Smith got drafted, who did we trade with, New England?
Wasn't it the Giants?
No, it was the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Okay.
So I knew we were going for a receiver as soon as we traded for with the Cowboys. I was like, oh, last time we traded with the Cowboys, we got Devontae Smith. I was like, oh, we got to get Malachi Lemon. We got Malachi Lemon. As soon as we got Malachi Lemon, this man. Now he ain't the tallest, but he's like an average height receiver. But that's not the thing. This man can go out there and catch any ball. I went back and watched his college tape. He was an absolute beast in college. But then again, it's the NFL. It's a whole different league. I got to see what he can do in the NFL. Also, we got a tight end. I can't remember it. It's Elijah, I think Elijah or something like that. Um, we got a tight end though. He's a pretty good tight end. The seventh round pick was my favorite pick. Now, this ain't gonna make a lot of sense to a lot of people, but you are Bernard. Never played football, but is a freak athlete. And now we can say the same thing with Jordan Mailata, right? He never played a snap of football, and now he's on an All-Pro Hall of Fame career. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He's on an All-Pro Hall of Fame career, man. And if this defensive tackle coach can just get him where he's good at football, because he's already a freak athlete. If he can get him where he's good at football, he's gonna be a problem, man. Because
Yeah.
man, you are Bernard. He ran the same 40 as Miles Garrett. He jumped higher than Miles Garrett. His wingspan was longer than Miles Garrett. He lost in one thing against Miles Garrett, and that was the thing where you got to go up and touch the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but
Uh, talking about the broad jump.
yeah, the broad jump.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that Miles Garrett beat him on. So, and it wasn't even by that much, dog. It was like by 0.3 or something like that. And he's an absolute freak athlete. I'm just excited for this season, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. And with this AJ Brown trade, it's good for both teams. It makes it better for the Eagles because AJ Brown didn't want to be there, and when a player don't want to be there, it's bad for both teams, or it's bad for that team, man. Because he if he don't want to be there, he's not going to be productive or anything. Which not saying AJ Brown wasn't productive, because he was definitely productive, but he just did a lot of complaining on our team because he didn't want to be there. He wanted to
Right.
be on. He wanted to be on the team that he loved, right?
Yep.
The New
Yep.
England Patriots. And now with
Absolutely.
him being on y'all's team, I don't see a lot of complaining coming his way because I see him getting a lot of targets. I mean, who's y'all's receivers? You got AJ Brown now, Romeo Dobbs, and see that's a good wide receiver and good wide receiver too right there. Y'all looking good, man.
I know, and I think, a lot of New England fans can kind of like sit back, kind of like breathe a little bit because it has been a long time since we've had a dominant X receiver. I mean, the last one that I can really think of that was like just purely dominant at the X was Randy Moss, right? Like, obviously, like we had very good slot guys and Julian Edelman and Wes Welker, and even at times we had a guy named Danny Amendola, if people don't remember, right? And there were so many times that, through the course of Brady's career, like he didn't always have the best weapons, right? But he always found a way, right? But
Yeah.
now it kind of feels different where like they're giving their quarterback all the weapons instead of playing what's the long game and trying to figure it out in the fourth or fifth round instead of, trading capital away, getting a great player and living with the results of it. And I think it's great.
Yeah, man, AJ Brown on that team, and the good thing is he already has a connection with Mike Vrabel,
Yep.
so it's it's gonna snap like that, man. It's gonna be great for y'all. I wish him the best. I hope he does great there. I hope he's still puds up 1,000+ yards. I hope this man. Hell, hopefully we might meet y'all in the Super Bowl.
We'll see. We'll
Hope,
see.
hopefully it might be a New England Patriots and Eagles Super Bowl rematch. But
Yeah,
New
that
England,
that
but
that
New
would be
England.
good.
I'm just saying if it is, bro, that week, man.
No, man, we ain't talking that week, man. No.
that that week. Hey, hey, that's gonna be a fun week.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah, man, and just going back, another huge thing. This is why I'm not really worried about the AJ Brown trade for us, because I know Devontae Smith can be that number one. I know Malachi Lemon can take that slot position
Yeah.
and play a slot receiver, right? And then I know Marquise Brown and Wicks and Elijah Moore are all going to be rotation players, and they're
Yeah.
going to rotate. But they're all above. Besides Marquise Brown, they're all above 6 feet tall. So you still got that tall receiver out there, and then you got Dallas Goddard who resigned for another year. So you still got Dallas Goddard on the team. You still got
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley. You still got the same offensive line, and Lane Johnson came back, so you still got Lane Johnson. I
Yep.
mean, if you're an Eagles fan, there's not much to worry about. Yes, Adrian Brown was a great player for us, but then again, at the same time, he didn't want to be here. He wanted to be a New England Patriot, so he got what he want, and we got what we want.
Right.
We got
And
a
I
first
and
round pick. Let's
right.
go.
And I do need to say this too. I think a lot of people forgot that Devontae Smith won a Heisman Trophy. I think, like, from playing the wide receiver position, I can't think off the top of my head the last receiver that won the Heisman Trophy other than Devontae Smith.
Travis,
Off the That's just off the top of my head. Yeah, I can't really think of it off the top of my head.
I
But
got one.
for
I
the
got one for you.
biggest, yeah,
Travis Hunter.
That is true. Yep, Travis Hunter. That's right. Yep, he did win it. So, I mean, there haven't. I mean, obviously, there's been guys that have won it previous times, right? But I think the biggest thing for Devontae is like if somebody's gonna tell me that they can name five better route runners in the league than Devontae Smith, I just personally think you're lying to yourself. I
Facts.
think Devontae Smith is a top five route runner in football. I mean, I've said it on the podcast. I've said it on, our lives that we do with the family that we have, right? And I think a lot of people are kind of going to get waken up to what Devontae Smith can be as a number one. Because, I mean, I'll ask you this, Rob, and this is just, we got to go from the heart here. Do you think Devontae Smith is a better receiver than AJ Brown?
Okay. I feel like they both have their own strengths,
Okay.
right? I feel like AJ Brown's strength is he can beat you on a 50-50 ball, right? Any day of the week. Yeah, when a 50-50 ball is a 70-30 ball with him, right? And then with Devontae Smith, he has that route tree. He honestly, in my opinion, and he's a top four in the route tree. Top four, bro. I got him at four. There's only three I got above him. That's Jamar, Justin, and JSN. That's it.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
And with Devontae, the only thing I've ever heard with people, I wouldn't say he's better than AJ Brown. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't say that as of now.
Yep.
Until I see him be better than AJ Brown, I can't say that, right? But what I can say is for all the people that's been saying, "Oh, Devontae Smith ain't going to be able to take a hit," I want you to go back and watch all the hits Devontae Smith took and then they got right back up. Because they keep telling me that Devontae Smith can't take a hit, that he's going to be out halfway through the season because he's the new number one. That's what I keep hearing around the TikTok streets. And
Right.
if that's what y'all think, y'all really need to go pay attention to some Eagles football, or just go back to Devontae Smith back in his Alabama days, or you can go back. You can even go back to his high school days when he did play number one receiver, in his college days when he played number one receiver.
Right.
In his first year in the NFL, he played number one receiver, and you know what? He took those hits. Sure, he only put up 900 something yards, but in all honesty, that's good for a rookie.
It is. It is. It is good for a rookie. I think a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say now that when a receiver gets in 1,000 yards, that's the bare minimum. Well, I hate to break it to everybody. I would love everybody to pull up the wide receiver twos in the league that are getting 1,000 yards a season.
Exactly. There's only four or five wide receivers. That's because someone tried to bring up Devontae Adams and tell me he had 1,000 yards. I was like, nope, he had 800.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
800.
he did have a hell of a lot of touchdowns last year, though. You
Yeah,
know,
but he didn't have the he didn't have the yards they were trying to claim. There's
right?
only there's only three teams that I know of that has it. It's the Cowboys, the Eagles. Well, not no more because AJ Brown's gone, but at the time, uh, and the Bengals. That's the only three I can remember off the top of my head.
Gotcha, gotcha. And that would
And
be T. Higgins, right?
T. Higgins and Jamar,
Okay.
Smitty and AJ, and CD and George.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
And for them to say that, I want them to notice this, right? Because receivers have bad years. Because I want you to look at the Steelers, right? Look at the Steelers, all their receivers together versus George Pickens, right? George Pickens beats all the receivers together
Yeah.
that one season.
That's
So
crazy.
it's like 1,000 yards shouldn't be the bare minimum for a wide receiver two. A bare minimum for a wide receiver two should be 600 to 700, right?
I
And
would say
then
about that. Yeah.
when they get to 1,000, that's a great achievement for a receiver two. Now, receiver one, yes, they should average 1,000 yards a season. I'll give you that. A
Yeah.
receiver one, that should be the bare minimum for them. But a receiver two, come on, guys. We're talking about someone that's playing the two that doesn't get targeted as much, and he put up 1,000 yards. Let's say Romeo Dobbs goes up and puts up 1,000 yards with AJ Brown on the team next season, right? what are we going to say? We're going to say, oh, that wasn't a good 1,000 yards. It's all because of AJ that he got the 1,000 yards.
I
Because that's
think
what they
that's
said with Smitty.
yeah, I think that would be a lot of what people could say. And honestly, I could see that happening now that you say it. I mean, Romeo Dobbs has been a 700, 800 yard guy. And I mean, not to say that he was the number one for the Packers or anything like that, right? But last year, he was their number one. After Jaden Reed got hurt and Christian Watson was banged up for those games, I mean, Romeo
Facts.
Dobbs stepped in and was pivotal for them down the stretch of last year.
And you
Um,
can't forget Tucker Craft went out, and it was just him.
it was him. It was a collection of him, Matthew Golden, and who's the last guy that had? Jaden Reed after he came back from injury. But
No, and Jalen and Wicks.
in Wicks, that's right, in Wicks, yeah, that you guys have now, right? So
Yep.
like the Packers that got rid of Dobbs, like honestly, like I think that's gonna hurt them a little bit. Like I don't think it would be an astronomical, thing to detriment their offense, but I think it will hurt a little bit not knowing if you have guys there to fill in that role, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's going to hurt them more than just a little bit because they didn't just lose Romeo Dobbs. They lost Wicks. Josh Jacobs is dealing with charges right now, allegedly.
Mhm.
Um, and Tucker Craft, is Tucker Craft going to come back the same after that injury?
That is true too. That is true too. And a lot of people don't think like that. They think that, ACLs are just things that you just can come back from. Now, I agree, right? Like medicine's gotten a lot better, but everybody's human. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
everybody reacts differently to different things. I mean, some of these guys that may have torn up their ACL or their LCL or, a ligament in their knee, I'm not going to say most of them, but I would say about 30 to 40% of them had a similar injury like that in either high school or college, right? And then
Facts.
if they do it again, it's like, oh, okay, well, I've already been through this before. I know what the rehab looks like, right? And I feel like for guys in the league that maybe haven't done that, like throughout their football career, like, it's a long process, like especially you look at a guy like Patrick Mahomes right now, where it looks like he's going to be slotted to play in week 1, but I think me and you can both agree that if he doesn't feel comfortable and if he doesn't feel ready, they're not putting him on the field.
Facts. If he's not comfortable, you definitely don't put him on the field. Wait till like week 3, week 4, possibly week 6 if you have to.
Definitely.
It's. I mean, you're talking about your franchise player. You're talking about $500 million right there. You're talking about one of
Absolutely.
the best.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, you definitely don't want to rush him on the field. But yeah, with the just to piggyback off the Green Bay Packers one last time. Also coming back off of injury, why do I keep calling Michael Parsons? I keep calling Michael Parsons Miles Garrett for some reason.
It's because of what happened today.
Yeah, we'll get to that, y'all. We got a lot. We got some stuff to talk about on here.
Yeah, but I think with Micah, I think obviously like I'm no mathematician or anything, but if you're a defensive end and if you're a running back and if you suffer a knee injury, I feel like that's bigger than, you know, an offensive lineman or a linebacker, right? Like if
Facts.
you're a pivotal edge rusher and you tear up your knee, it's not only the speed that you need to get back, Rob, it's the power, right? Like, and Micah obviously is one of the premier edge rushers in football. I don't think me or you would dispute that, right?
I agree. I agree with you.
And I think with Micah, it's more of like, okay, I know that I was already a speed and fast and twitchy player off the edge, but now I feel like it's going to be about Micah finally reaching that precipice of the power that he knows he can get to, right? and
Facts.
and using that a little bit more towards the end, towards the end being of his career, to withstand longer now. I personally believe that.
Facts. I agree with you, man. So, I mean, I don't think this year coming up, this Green Bay Packers year, I think they got to wait another year for everybody to get fully healthy, man. Because I don't think Tucker Kraft's going to, 1 year after getting an injury, not even a whole year.
Yeah.
It's been like 7 months, 8 months. And he's going to come off that injury, man. I don't think he'll be the same off the rip. I think it's going to take him a second to get back to who he was.
Yeah.
Now, he can prove me wrong. He can prove me wrong. Micah Parsons can prove me wrong, but I think it's going to take a second for them to get back to the 100%. They might come back at 70% and then get back to 100%.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that for sure.
But yeah, before we get into this Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett trade, Myles Garrett and Jared Verse trade, and we give out our early predictions for our records. We're going to cut to commercial break, let everybody know what the Not Move podcast has going on, and y'all stay tuned for the Myles Garrett trade talk. Sir.
The Not Move podcast is fueled by W Energy. Smooth, jitter-free focus, and flavors that slap. Mango, berry, watermelon. Whatever gets you locked in, they've got it. Hit up W.GG, use promo code NOTMOVED, and snag 10% off your order. Stay not moved, stay energized.
Number Friday nights, 9 Eastern. It's the Dribble NBA edition on the Not Move podcast. We break down the week, the trades, the highlights, everything around the league. Tap in, chop it up with us, and get the takes that move the game forward. Stay not moved.
The Not Move podcast drop is here. Snapbacks, hoodies, mugs, stickers, totes, everything you need to rep the convo everywhere you go. Limited run, unlimited style. Tap the link, fill the cart, and
tap into the Not Move podcast every Friday night at 8 Eastern.
We're bringing the scrap sheet, UFC edition.
Every jab, every takedown, every headline.
All the fights, all the drama, all the picks, right here.
Watch live on YouTube or listen anywhere you get your podcast. Hit follow, hit subscribe.
And stay not moved.
Need some new Not Move drip? The In the Wickets hoodie just dropped. Super soft fleece, heavyweight feel, and the official NMP patch on the sleeve. Tap add to cart, check out, and let us handle the rest. In a couple days, it shows up at your door, ready to rock. Rep the podcast from the couch to the tip.
Every Thursday night, the Not Move podcast drops a new episode of
In the Wickets,
our deep dive on everything around the NHL.
We break down the plays, the trades, the stats, and the stories that matter.
Plus, a few hot takes along the way.
Join us live at 8 p.m. Eastern, or catch it on your favorite podcast app right after.
Same energy, same on.
Tuesday nights just got louder. Ringside Rewind is live every week, 9 Eastern.
We're breaking down Raw, SmackDown, and everything leading into the weekend. If it happens between the ropes, we're talking about it.
Deep dives, hot takes, and a few surprise
and
replays.
A whole lot of arguing.
Yeah, but the good kind. Ringside.
Oh, the Orphan Elimination Chamber tee just dropped. Fresh out the box. Look at this.
That print is nasty. Chain link O, silver hit. It's tough.
It's soft too, y'all. Fits right. Little drip for the Elimination Chamber weekend.
We rocking these all season.
If you're part of the Not Move fam, you already know.
Jump on it before it's
Grab
gone.
Grab yours now at Not Move Shop.
Episode of the Not Move podcast is brought to you by the MLB Shop. They have every team's gear, from classic caps to World Baseball Classic hoodies, all official and all ready for game day. Tap the link in our bio to head straight to the shop and snag your favorite merch.
The drop is here. NMP gear built for every day and game day. Hoodies, mugs, and the Coach Common jersey in bold gold. Rep the movement. Feel the energy. Shop new arrivals.
If you're craving baseball talk that doesn't flinch, tap in with us Monday nights at 8 Eastern.
It's the Rusty Mitt MLB edition of the Not Move podcast. Breakdowns, debates, all the swings and misses without the fake fluff.
Join us live or catch the replay wherever you get your pods. Rusty Mitt, not moved. Stay not moved.
Attention Not Move Nation. Our first ever jersey has landed. The NMP by JB Sport Talk collab brings premium mesh, bold gold accents, and that undeniable game day energy. Plus, hoodie drop.
Today's episode of Not Moved is brought to you by Open Goal, the world's #1 backyard goal. If you love soccer but hate chasing balls into the neighbor's yard, this thing is a game changer. Its rebound net sends missed shots right back to you, and the side nets keep your landscaping and your windows safe. It's perfect for kids, for training, or just having fun.
Today's episode of the Not Move podcast is brought to you by Walmart.com. With our storefront in the Walmart app, you can get everything you need. Pick up or have it delivered.
We ordered dinner while recording and it showed up before we wrapped.
Better good sweet corn and burrata ravioli.
Nuri protein drinks, even St. Patrick's Day treats.
Walmart.com.
Not Move, fam. Southgate edition just landed and it's fire. Check the tee, watch out for the skis and the wickets. Hockey stick, cricket wickets, all vibes. We got hoodies, mugs, caps, beanies, whatever you need. Cop yours before they...
At the Not Move podcast, just drop the gear.
Heavyweight hoodies, premium cotton, street ready.
Caps, mugs, and more. Every detail on point.
Whether you're hooping, tailgating, or just repping the pod, NMP fits the culture.
Limited drops. When they're gone, they're gone.
Cop yours today at notmoveshop.fourthwall.com.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Real quick, before we get into this trade, New England, I actually want to bring something up about DeVonta Smith, because people say he can't be the #1, but I just found something interesting, right? So from week 1 to week 9, this man was on pace for 1,300 yards. He was 400 yards ahead of AJ Brown by week 9, right? But then week 9, you remember AJ Brown said he wasn't getting the ball, and then they decided to force him the ball. That's when Smitty's stats started going down. But he still managed to have more yards than AJ Brown last season. Granted, it was only 7 yards, but AJ Brown had 1,003 yards. Devontae Smith had 1,008. AJ Brown had 3 more touchdowns than him, though. But it shows, bro, that he can possibly be that number one, because he was on pace at the time. He was on pace for his career high, 1,300, and bro could have got it. Honestly,
absolutely. I think that obviously, like, we look at a couple of guys every year that can have that kind of production, right? Like, I think nobody in their right mind would have tried to tell me that 10 weeks into the season last year, it didn't look like Jonathan Taylor was going to run away with the rushing title, right? And then injuries happened to that team, right? And derailed them to a point that, they were sitting the last 3 weeks of the season with Phillip Rivers at quarterback and trying to get W's to get in, right? And we laugh about it, right? But like, that happens every year with players, right? That's one guy will start off really hot halfway through the year. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's one name from last year, but the year before would be a guy like Bucky Irving, right? Like 7 weeks into the season, he looked amazing, right? Like, he looked like the part. He looked like the second round draft pick that they drafted. They looked like they hit on him, right? And then the last 10 weeks of the season, he didn't really live up to being that second round draft pick. They end up losing to Washington in the wild card round. And, now obviously with that team, you look at the landscape of how the Buccaneers are now, and you say, okay, well, you got rid of your best pass catcher for the last 10 seasons. So, Bucky Irving, you're expected to run the ball now, buddy. You know what I mean?
Fact. So it's like, see, this is what I like about the whole situation, man, with any team, right? With the Mike Evans situation, Bucky Irving is expected to have a big season, right?
Yep.
But Bucky Irving, because they're supposed to run the ball more. Now, with the AJ Brown trade, Devontae Smith is expected to have a big season because he's moving to that number one and he's going to get more targets. And moving into this trade, man, the Jared Verse and Myles Garrett trade, did not see this coming at all. Let's talk about it, man. So the Browns get a first-round pick along with Jared Verse, and the Rams get Myles Garrett.
Yeah. I mean, the Rams keep saying, those picks, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, everybody can get upset that Myles Garrett is going to the Rams, right? But, I'm going to say something, maybe something that maybe you feel, Rob. I'm happy for him.
Me too.
I'm happy for Myles Garrett. And I will say this, obviously I don't like to give hypotheticals on the show, as we always stay non-casual on the Not Move podcast. But Rob, let me ask you a question. If Myles Garrett goes to the Rams, which he is, right?
Yep.
And they win a Super Bowl, does Myles Garrett ride off into the sunset?
He's too young to retire.
Okay.
He's way. I don't think he retires yet. I think he has another. I mean, he's getting paid $40 million a year, dog. I don't think if I'm getting that bag, right, and I'm winning Super Bowls, and I'm still getting that bag from the Rams, because they still pay me $40 million for the next 3-4 years. So I got 4 years with them making $40 million a year. I'm going to keep that, and I can possibly win more than one Super Bowl. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to ride off to the sunset just yet. But what I do think is going to happen is because, and what's funny, right? What I found funny about the whole situation with all these trades with Trent McDuffie that the Rams got, Myles Garrett, the other cornerback from the Chiefs, with all that, man, when was let's go back to the last time the Rams won the Super Bowl. Where did they win it? New England.
In L.A.
Where's the Super Bowl at this year? New
In
England.
L.A.
You get what I'm going at, man. They get all these exciting trades with Myles Garrett, Trent McDuffie. They got the defense. They already had the offense with Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyrie Williams, and Matthew Stafford. They already got the offense. Now they got the defense. We're in trouble. The league is in trouble.
For sure. I think, obviously, I think a lot of people were expecting the big trade to be something that we already had expected, right? With A.J. Brown going to the Patriots.
Yeah.
But
that was
JB made a really good point a couple weeks ago. And it was right before the draft. And they basically told Myles Garrett, hey, instead of paying you on April 15th when all the new league money hits, or March 15th when all the new league money hits, we're going to pay you right before the first week of the season. And to me, that told me, well, why would you do that to a guy that just broke the sack record if you're not trying to either move him or bring someone in to play with him, right? And I think JB had said that, Cleveland looks like right now that they might have won this trade, right? And maybe
you got a good point.
And maybe they did, because I think me and you can both agree that Myles Garrett getting traded shows a lot of teams that when you're not good, right? When you don't have a good roster construction and you have a star player, the best thing to do is to get rid of that star player in order to get the ship rolling again, right?
Facts. Just to piggyback off what you said, man. Like you were saying, bro, to get rid of a good player, I mean, you're paying this guy $40 million a year, right? You get rid of him, send him to the Rams. Now the Rams got to deal with that contract, right? And you get it ain't like you don't get nothing in return. You get a dog in Jared Verse. Jared Verse is an absolute. We're not gonna act. I know he ain't no Myles Garrett, but he is still a dog. He is a beast. We don't know. I mean, and he's not even hit his peak yet or his prime.
Right.
So, and you're not paying him that much. You're not paying him as much as you're paying Myles Garrett. And you also get a first-round pick out of it. Now you got 2 first-round picks going into this draft next season.
And I don't want to say it because, I think if the Rams presently constructed right now, I mean, I think me and you can both agree that if they don't win a Super Bowl, this is like a historic failure on their part. Like, you bring in a player like Myles Garrett, I think now after going to the NFC Championship, you are expected to win the Super Bowl. I don't even think you're expected to go. You're expected to win it. But, Rob, we do have to bring up this point. They have to stay extremely healthy now. The Rams. Not to say that, Stafford, right? I think me and you can both agree that we're probably not worried about Stafford, right?
Not at all.
It is the other guys. I mean, I'm worried about Puka. I'm worried about Puka's health. I mean, Puka last year was the first year that he had stayed completely healthy all throughout the season, right? I think he might have missed like one half or something like that in a game. But
then again, I'm not only worried about that on Puka. You gotta also add in the fact they just gave Trent McDuffie this huge contract. They gave Matthew Stafford $55 million, and then they gave, which that's well deserving. He won the MVP. He had a great season, amazing season. But then again, it's $55 million 1 year, and then you picked up Myles Garrett's contract, and then now you got to pay Puka Nacua next year. So let's say Puka Nacua does stay fully healthy for the whole season and has 1,700 yards like JSN. Say he puts up another huge season and he's the number 1 receiver. Now you got to pay him more than JSN.
Yeah.
So
that's the problem, is trying to
Puka
find.
gold?
I mean it. I mean I don't want to say yes, but I mean my other question would be like, how do you pay all of those people, right? Like you can defer so many contracts, right, to further years, right?
Yeah.
How, I don't understand how they would get that done. I mean, you're gonna have to pay him more than JSN. So if that's the point you're trying to make, Rob, then I mean that's $45 million a year. If JSN is getting 42, I mean Puka's agent is gonna look at them and say, well, we need 45. You know what I
That
mean? I'm putting up 15, 1,700 yard seasons like they're nothing, right? Like I need to be compensated. A fifth round pick doing this, yeah, he needs to be compensated for definitely what he's done for the Rams, right? I think a lot of it will have to do with how this season goes for him off the field, too. With Puka, I think obviously there have been some concerns, not a ton, but there have been some concerns of his stuff off the field. So maybe the Rams are looking at it as potentially having Myles Garrett take on what they would have paid Puka. And not to say that it's crazy to say this, but I don't see them re-signing Puka Nacua. I
I don't
really
either.
don't. I really don't. I don't know how they do it with paying the people they're paying. I mean, and on top of it, they're going to have to pay Kyron Williams too.
Facts.
Another great part of that offense. So I think it remains to be seen what the Rams look like post this year. You know, I think that's a huge thing that
That's why.
potentially to look out for. Yeah.
That's that's why this year is win now for them. This year's got to be win now because, bro, you can't. Yes, you're paying. The only thing that could help them with the Puka Nakua thing, right, is God help he doesn't. But if he did get injured and he
Yeah.
went out for like 6 weeks, and or or the off the field antics, he did another off the field antics that could help with the contract. But otherwise, they're screwed, man. There's no way you're going to be able to pay Kyrie Williams. And let's say Matthew Stafford comes back for another season. You got to pay Matthew Stafford again.
Yeah.
You got this $40 million contract for Myles Garrett. Granted that the Browns are paying $15 million this year, but you still got to pay. What is that? 25, 20, something like
About 25 million, or if not more, depending
yeah,
on what his salary is for the season.
yeah, exactly. You still got to pay him 25 mil, and then you got to play Sherman Duffy. You just gave him this huge contract. Also, on top of that, you also gave the other Chiefs cornerback another, not a huge contract, but a decent contract. So
Definitely.
it's like, bro, how are you gonna pay these people? This is win now, and this is if I'm a betting man. If I'm a wager on it, bro, I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking either the Rams or New England. The top four for me: Rams, New England, Eagles. But Eagles is biased for me because even though I'm not biased, I'm a little biased sometimes. I'll admit that. And the Chiefs. That's my top four. Two for the NFC, two for the AFC.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, Rob, is there anything else that you had to add?
Yeah, let's do our predictions real quick for our team.
Okay.
I'll let you hit it first, man. With this AJ Brown, Romeo Dobbs, Drake May. What y'all doing next season, New England?
So I think the schedule is definitely harder than last year, right? Like no casual, right? When you play teams that 13 out of the 17 games you played, they fired their head coach last year. You kind of got very. I feel like we got very lucky last year for the schedule that we did have. I think the safest prediction I can give for the Patriots right now for next season would be between 9-8 and 11-6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm gonna give you a hot prediction and then like a non-casual prediction. I'm gonna give you a casual one and then a non-casual one, just for
Okay.
the. For my casual one, um, 14-3.
Okay.
For my non-casual, I can see us going 12-5 or 11-6. I don't
Okay.
see us. Well, our schedule is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Man, we got the AFC South. I'm not. I mean, the only team that I'm really worried about over there is the Texans,
Yep. Yep.
and that's because their defense, not because their quarterback. Sorry, Joes, your quarterback is not the best, man. He's falling off. He keeps getting worse by the season. You said we keeping it factual, so I'm trying to keep it factual, man.
Absolutely.
He gets worse by the season. Am I lying?
No, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. I think me and you would both be very surprised if CJ Stroud gets an extension in the offseason next year, unless he does something drastic. Like, I mean, he has to take that team to the Super Bowl for that to even be close.
Or win MVP. Or win MVP. Either one. But yeah, after that, man, he's. Oh, that's the only way. Only way.
Yeah.
But yeah, New England, that's all I have for it. That's all we got today, man. Thank you, dog. Shout out to New England first. New England, let them know where they can find you on social media, dog.
Yeah, guys, you guys can find me on TikTok. Robert knows. If you guys have not been tuning in to the Not Move podcast sports edits, as we are doing ball knowledge parts to real life NFL players that played in the league. Right now, part 1 through 25 is 2010 ball knowledge players. So we've started off easy with some people, right? We've given people Josh Gordon. We've given people CJ2K. We've given people Megatron. We've given people Drew Brees and Rob Gronkowski. But this next week, and Deshaun Jackson. But this next week is going to be filled of some unforgotten heroes from the 2010 NFL decade. So I hope everybody tunes into that.
Hey, I got one you should throw in there. Just he's a four-time All-Pro safety. Dwayne Bishop.
I'll do it. I got you.
Played one season with the Eagles. Played the rest with the Titans. He was on the. You remember when the Eagles went to the NFC Championship? I think it was 2005 against the Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Or 2004. No, it was 2004, and then 2005 they went back and made it to the Super Bowl and lost. But yeah, 2004 when they went to the NFC Championship, he was on that team with Andy Reid and all them.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely do that for sure.
I'll go check it out. Check out the edit. Also, go follow me on TikTok at NMPYC. I'm the YC. Anyways, y'all stay tuned for more. This season's gonna be crazy. We're gonna keep doing lives like this. Y'all stay tuned for the season, man. Preseason, we're gonna be on it, man. We're gonna be right here doing these lives for the preseason, telling you what we think about our rookies, man. And we keep it 100. If the rookies are trash, we ain't gonna let you know they trash. If they good, we ain't gonna let you know they're good. So at the Not Move Podcast, we got a saying: either you log in or you log out, and we keep it factual, not casual. And as always, this is Robert at
New England, the GOAT editor.
Podcast. As always, stay not moved and tune in for more.
Peace out, guys. Have a great week.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.